Welcome to Well Coached, a podcast about how people, sales, profit, and self can transform your business. I'm your host, Chris Weinberg, and I have helped hundreds of entrepreneurs get into their highest productivity zone and become corporate enough to succeed. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to Well Coached with Chris Weinberg, where we dive into the 4 pillars of business success: people, sales, profit, and self. I'm your host, Chris Weinberg, and today we're focusing on people, specifically how to build a high-performing team using the DISC profile. You've heard me say it before. People are the most important asset in any business. People are your most dynamic resource. But how do you create a team that's not just good, but great? There's more to it than competence level. The DISC profile is one of the most powerful tools for understanding your team's strengths, improving communication, and building a culture where everyone thrives. And trust me, I've seen the impact firsthand. My own DISC profile is a high D, high I with a very low S&C, which basically means I'm driven, fast-moving, people-oriented, but I'm not naturally wired for details or structured. And that's why I've gotten smarter over the years in terms of intentionally building my leadership team to balance strengths and gaps. For instance, my right-hand person, Elizabeth, she has a very high D, a very high C, someone who gets things done, but is also highly analytical. And my controller, a high C, ensuring precision and process in everything we do. Understanding these dynamics has made all the difference in how we operate efficiently as a team. Let's get started with just a quick breakdown of the DISC profile in case you're new or just need a little bit of refresher. Personality styles. DISC profile, there's 4 of them, right? We all have all 4 of these to some degree, but in general, D stands for dominance. These folks are the direct, results-driven, highly competitive. They thrive on challenges, but can sometimes be blunt. Sometimes hurt feelings come into play. High I's, influence, social, persuasive, energetic. They bring the enthusiasm, but may struggle with the follow-through. High S's, steadiness. These are the people that are loyal, dependable, team-oriented. They excel in support roles, but may resist change. And then finally, the high C's. Conscientious. They're highly detail-oriented, analytical, and precise. They value accuracy, but may get stuck in overanalyzing at times. Each of us has a combination of these styles, but understanding where you and your team members fall on the DISC spectrum can transform how you work together. So let's talk about how DISC can help you build a high-performing team. The first is improved communication. Every great team starts with great communication. Knowing someone's DISC type helps you adapt your approach when appropriate. For example, if you're a high D, you're leading a high S, slow things down, give them space to process. If you're a high I and you're working with a high C, focus on details and clarity versus pie in the sky type ideas. This was a game changer for me. I'm a high D, high I, which means I'm going to move fast. I'm going to focus on the big picture. But my controller, who's a high C, needs time to analyze and make sure every detail is covered. Early on, I'd throw out ideas and I'd expect an immediate response. That didn't go well. Now I've learned to give time to process and bring me a well-researched answer from my high C controller. And given the appropriate amount of time, that answer is generally right. Want to understand yourself and the people around you like never before? If you've been listening to me talk about the DISC profile, then you know how powerful it can be. But now it's time to take it a step further. Introducing my DISC Profile Mastermind Series, a one-of-a-kind in-person experience designed to crack the code to better relationships, better communication, and ultimately better results. In this exclusive mastermind, I'll be sharing expert insights on how you and the people around you can work best for growth, success, and even profit. Whether you're leading a team, building stronger personal relationships, or just trying to navigate everyday interactions, this is your chance to level up. This mastermind begins May 15th, but here's the thing. This mastermind has very limited space, and it's happening live at the Nashville City Club, right in the heart of the city where business meets creativity. To reserve your spot today, head over to wellcoachedconsulting.com. Spaces are going to fill up fast, so don't wait. That's wellcoachedconsulting.com, where understanding each other isn't just a theory, it's the key to unlocking the next level of your business. Second way to use DISC in building the high-performance team, better role assignment. When you understand DISC, you can put people in the right seats. Need someone to drive results? Possibly that's your high D. Need someone that's a team builder? High S's will shine in that role. Another example, my right-handed person, Elizabeth, is a high D, high C. She balances my energy with structure and pushback when needed. If I had someone with the same high D, high I profile as me, we'd probably start 100 projects and we may finish 5 of them. Instead, I've got someone who complements my leadership style, keeps us focused while driving execution and maintaining quality. I specifically sought out a particular DISC profile. Elizabeth and I have been together, I think, 9 years or so. I sought out that DC profile to match with my DI. I needed someone that I wouldn't roll over by accident. That's the D. But I needed someone with a high C to overcome my organizational challenges. And then I wanted someone with a lower I and a lower S so that we just didn't get into chit-chat mode every day. And it has been a great relationship. I hope she'd say the same thing. The third way to use DISC in building high-performance teams, this is great for conflict resolution. And let's be real, conflict happens and it's natural. And conflict only happens when one or more people care about something. Conflicts are not personal inside of the 4 walls of business. They are about differences in communication styles and how people operate. A high D might see a high C as too slow, but in reality, they're just thorough. DISC gives you a framework to bridge those gaps, to seek to understand where's this other person coming from and how can I adapt my behavior to be impactful with them. And then finally, motivation and leadership. Leaders, now this is the key. Motivate people in the way they respond best. One size does not fit all. High I's need recognition. High C's need clear expectation and may actually be suspect of too much praise. High D's need autonomy. Leave them alone. Let them go operate. They can keep their own score. High S's need stability. Lead people how they need to be led in their most natural state. What are some practical steps to implement DISC in your team? Understanding the DISC is great, but it only works if you apply it, and here's how you can bring it into your business today. First, assess your team. Have everyone take a DISC assessment and discuss the results together. My hope is that you'd use a coach or someone who's certified in DISC to walk you through that, but at the very least, take the assessment. You'll be 80%, 90% down the road further than most people. If you can bring in an expert to help you understand it and understand the nuances of the graphs, even better. Number 2, communicate expectations based on DISC. Clearly outline how different team members like to receive feedback, how they like to collaborate, and how they like to make decisions. Understanding what makes each other's tick is going to go a long way. And then third, leverage strengths in meetings and projects. High I's lead the brainstorming. High C's handle the details. High D's drive the execution of the idea. And high S's keep the team engaged. In my team, I handle most of the vision and the momentum, while my controller keeps the financials airtight and my high DC partner makes sure things are actually getting done. And they both have an ability with their high C and high D to tell me when I'm wrong. That's intentional design. Fourth, coach and develop leaders with DISC in mind. Your high D leaders are always going to need to develop patience. Your high I leaders may need to focus on follow through. Your high C leaders may need to work on proper delegation and timing. And your high S leaders may need to embrace change. If you take one thing away from today's episode, let it be this. The best teams aren't just made up of the best people. They're made up of the right people working together in the right way. It's not just about competence in a particular role. It's about competence and how communication is being filtered and taught throughout the organization. For me, DISC is not just a tool, it's a strategy. I built my team intentionally, balancing my strengths and weaknesses with others' strengths and weaknesses, and you can do it too. If you want to dive deeper into DISC and how it can transform your business, reach out for a DISC workshop, or let's talk about applying this in your leadership strategy. If this episode was helpful, share it with a leader or a business owner who could use it. And don't forget to subscribe to Well Coached with Chris Weinberg for more insights on people, sales, profit, and self. Thanks for listening. Now go out and build that high-performance team. Well, guys, that's a wrap for today. We thank you a ton for listening and looking forward to the next episode. We'll continue this journey on how becoming corporate enough can put you in your highest productivity zone to create a successful, profitable, and purpose-driven business for you.